I found this curved black plastic item in storage while moving out of my house. It is hollow underneath, with U-shaped cutouts, a grid pattern, and a metal clip on the side. It even has a stamped manufacturing grid with the years 2015 to 2019. I am afraid to throw it out in case it attaches to something important. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a mulching plug for a push lawnmower. Modern rotary lawnmowers are typically designed to either bag grass clippings or discharge them out the side. When you insert this plastic plug into the discharge chute, it completely seals the mower deck. This forces the spinning blades to repeatedly cut the grass clippings until they are fine enough to drop back into the soil as a natural fertilizer. The metal clip locks it securely against the mower's safety flap, while the manufacturing grid molded into the plastic simply tracks the exact month and year the plastic mold was injected. I found this empty clay vessel in a thrift store. It has a distinctive design with the handle and spout located on the exact same side, standing at a 90-degree angle to each other. There is also a small stamp on the end of the handle. Unsure if it is for pouring, does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a kyusu, a traditional Japanese teapot specifically designed for brewing green tea. The side handle design, known as yokode kyusu, originated in China but was perfected in Japan for traditional tea ceremonies. This ergonomic handle placement allows the user to pour the tea with a simple twist of the wrist rather than lifting and tilting the entire arm. The interior typically features a fine clay or metal mesh filter at the base of the spout to strain out loose tea leaves, making it highly efficient for multiple, quick infusions. I picked this up from an antique center at Salt's Mill in Leeds. The tag simply said, "Old Rope." It consists of a wooden bracket with around 6 feet of thick vintage-style rope attached. I plan to use it for my cats to climb, but it does not look like it would hold the weight of a person. Does anyone know what it is? It is exactly what you plan to use it for, a wall-mounted cat climbing rope. Despite being found in an antique store, this is a modern pet accessory designed to mimic rustic decor. The wooden bracket is meant to be screwed directly into a wall stud, allowing the thick sisal or jute rope to hang vertically. Cats use their claws to scale the 6 feet of rope, providing them with indoor exercise and vertical territory. These are often sold as modular components to build larger, wall-mounted jungle gyms for felines. I found these lightweight metal objects in the kitchen drawer of a hoarded house I was cleaning out in eastern Pennsylvania. They are heavily tarnished, measure about 1.5 inches across, and regular silver polish is not budging the grime at all. Does anyone know what it is? These objects are the lids to vintage salt and pepper shakers, specifically ones designed to look like miniature dairy farm milk cans. During the mid-20th century, novelty kitchenware companies mass-produced these aluminum and tin shakers as popular household items. Because they are likely made of spun aluminum rather than silver, standard silver polish will not work and might actually damage the finish. The small holes at the top allowed the spices to shake out freely, while the wide bottom threaded onto a glass or metal body. I found this gray threaded plastic piece sitting in the bottom of my dishwasher. It is about the size of a $50 coin, and I have absolutely no idea where it came from. Does anyone know what it is? It's a locking nut for a Vecken brand pet water fountain, specifically designed for cats and small dogs. This specific piece threads right above the main drinking tray. It is designed to clamp the internal funnel tube and the top drinking basin securely together, ensuring the electric pump pushes water upward without leaking. It likely vibrated loose during routine cleaning and fell into the bottom of your dishwasher. What is this lightweight ceramic object with multiple holes, internal prongs, and what looks like mounting screw holes on the back? Does anyone know what it is? It's a ceramic radiator panel, specifically designed for a natural gas or propane space heater. The ceramic material is engineered to withstand extreme temperatures without cracking or warping over time. When the gas flame burns behind and inside the hollow sections, the porous ceramic core absorbs the thermal energy and glows red hot. This effectively converts the convective heat of the burning gas into radiant heat, projecting warmth outward into the room safely and efficiently. I found this slightly weighted rectangular object while walking through a polluted creek bed. It is about the size and thickness of a standard domino, featuring two convex bumps on top and corresponding concave dots on the bottom, almost like a heavy plastic brick. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is an early children's building block, essentially a predecessor to the modern Lego brick. Before Lego popularized the interlocking plastic block in the 1950s, companies like Kittycraft patented similar self-locking building bricks in the United Kingdom around 1939. The convex bumps lock tightly into the concave dots of the piece above it, relying on mechanical friction to hold structures together. Over decades, heavy plastic composites like these can survive surprisingly well in harsh outdoor environments. I found this while clearing out an old office drawer. It is a surprisingly heavy, yellow plastic object, measuring about 5 inches long, with a small hook at the top and a distinct molded seam running down the middle. Does anyone know what it is? It's a window blind pull cord weight. These heavy pendants are attached to the end of the looped chains or strings used to raise and lower heavy-duty commercial window blinds. The internal seam indicates it was molded in two halves to encase a dense metal core, usually made of steel or lead. The heavy weight serves a specific mechanical purpose by applying constant downward tension to the cord. This prevents the operational string from twisting, keeps it hanging straight down against the window frame, and provides smooth leverage when you rotate the heavy blind mechanisms. We found this cleaning out my family's farmstead home that dates back to 1890, after my uncle passed away. It is a wooden frame that folds up like an accordion, measuring about 3 feet long by 1.5 feet wide. My grandma was an avid quilter, so I thought it might be related to sewing. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a vintage folding double washtub stand. Before the invention of the electric washing machine, doing laundry was a highly labor-intensive process. Patented and widely manufactured in the early 1900s, these wooden stands were engineered to hold two large galvanized steel tubs side by side. One tub was used for hot, soapy washing, and the other for clean rinsing. The central wooden crosspiece was used to brace a corrugated metal washboard. After laundry day, the accordion hinges allowed the entire frame to collapse flat for easy storage. My friends and I have been sitting around the table trying to figure out what this is, but we have nothing. It is a small stand made of metal and wood, with a metal piece that flips up and down and a distinct hole in the base. It is stamped with the brand Stoha Design. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a cheese, or truffle slicer rest. Stoha Design is a German manufacturing company that has produced specialized table accessories and kitchenware for decades. The wooden base acts as a stable platform, while the flipping metal component is designed to hold a handheld wire cheese slicer or a sharp truffle shaver when it is not actively being used. The hole in the base accommodates the handle or the cutting mechanism, allowing the blade to stay safely elevated and keeping the table surface clean during a meal. What is this tiny metallic carriage object? From my initial research, it looks like some sort of vintage wagon trinket, colored to look like bright gold. I cannot find an exact match online to pinpoint where it came from. Does anyone know what it is? It's a vintage stamped metal charm, originally manufactured for a child's charm bracelet or necklace. During the mid-20th century, particularly in the 1950s and 1960s, these lightweight aluminum or tin trinkets were incredibly common toys. They were often dispensed in grocery store gumball machines or sold in inexpensive novelty sets. Kids would collect and trade these small charms on the playground, linking them together on cheap chains to create customized jewelry. I found this articulating metal contraption at a thrift shop in the kitchen section. It folds completely flat but expands into a sort of cone shape when you pull the wires apart. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a folding pour-over coffee dripper, most likely manufactured by the brand Kikkerland. This clever piece of camping and travel gear is designed to be highly portable. To use it, you expand the metal frame, place it over a coffee mug, and insert a standard paper coffee filter. You then add your ground coffee and pour hot water over the top, allowing the brewed coffee to drip directly into your cup. Once you finish, the stainless steel frame collapses completely flat for easy storage in a backpack or drawer. What is this moderately rusted steel cylinder? It is mostly hollow but incredibly heavy, weighing in at 10 pounds and 5 ounces. There are distinct holes drilled into the body and heavy threading on one end, which makes it look like it attaches to a much larger machine. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a pipe ferret, or a high-pressure sewer jetter nozzle. It is an industrial-grade attachment used by municipal plumbers and commercial cleaning crews to clear massive pipe blockages. The threaded end connects to a high-capacity water hose attached to a heavy-duty surge pump. When the water is activated, high-pressure streams shoot out of the rear-facing holes. This creates intense thrust, propelling the heavy metal nozzle deep into the clogged pipe like a rocket. The forward hole blasts a jet of water to break up debris, while the rear jets act as hooks to drag out the dislodged material when the operator reels the hose back in. I was looking through my uncle's collection of knickknacks and found this heavy metal figurine. He got it from his grandfather, so it is likely over a century old. It features a cat on a book hunting a ball and sits on a solid stone base. The cat is actually on a hinge, and when you push it down, it springs right back up. Does anyone know what it is? It's an antique mechanical paperclip and paperweight combination. Long before digital filing, heavy desktop accessories were essential for organizing physical documents in drafty offices. The dense stone base acts as a paperweight, while the spring-loaded cat functions as a heavy-duty clip to hold quick reference papers. Desk novelties like this became highly popular during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, manufactured by foundries using cast iron or brass. The unidentifiable text on the book is likely a pseudo-language or decorative stamping commonly used by novelty manufacturers of that era. I found this while cleaning out the ashes in my grandmother's Vermont Castings Defiant wood stove. It is a solid metal piece, exactly 7 inches long if you do not count the bend at the end, and it is definitely heavier than it looks. We were worried it fell out of the chimney or dampener mechanism. Does anyone know what it is? It's a thumb screw, though it has been severely bent out of shape. Thumb screws are hardware components designed with a flattened or winged head so they can be tightened or loosened by hand without tools. Given that it was found in the ashes but does not match standard internal stove components, it likely belonged to an old log holder or was hardware attached to a piece of scrap wood that was accidentally tossed into the fire. The extreme temperatures inside a wood stove can easily exceed 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hot enough to warp and bend standard steel hardware over time. I noticed this clear water bottle connected by a plastic tube to the wall of my apartment building. There are 2 of them, and they are only installed on the top floor. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a tell tube, which is a direct translation of the Swedish plumbing term skvallerör. It functions as an early warning system to detect a slow leak from internal plumbing. Instead of water building up unseen behind the drywall, the tube channels any escaped moisture directly into the clear bottle, or sometimes straight onto the floor. This provides a visible indicator of a plumbing failure, allowing maintenance to address the issue before it causes massive structural water damage. What is this old metal tool? It looks exactly like a heavy-duty pair of cutters or snips, but it has a specific circular notch cut out from the center of the blades. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a hose clamp installer and remover tool. Specifically, it is engineered to grip the raised metal tabs on constant tension spring clamps, which are commonly used in automotive cooling systems to secure rubber hoses to metal pipe fittings. When a mechanic squeezes the handles together, the circular cutout holds the tabs securely without crushing or slipping off them. This expands the steel tension ring, allowing the user to slide the clamp down the hose and safely release it into position. I just swapped out the filter in my water pitcher a few days ago and found this pinkish-orange slime growing inside. The largest bit in the corner is a little over 0.25 inches long. I am unsure how concerned I should be about my drinking water. Does anyone know what it is? This is a bacterial colony called Serratia marcescens. It is a common species of rod-shaped bacterium that thrives in damp indoor environments. The bacteria produces a distinctive reddish-orange pigment called prodigiosin. You will often see it forming a biofilm in bathrooms, on shower grout, or inside perpetually wet plastic containers like water filter pitchers. While it is generally not highly dangerous to healthy individuals, it is an opportunistic pathogen. To remove it safely, you should thoroughly wash the pitcher with hot water, dish soap, and a mild bleach solution to completely eradicate the biofilm. I found this very heavy stone ball while hiking in the woods in the Ozarks. It is made of 5 distinct panels of polished stone joined together, and it is roughly the size of a tennis ball, though I used a chapstick in the photo for scale. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a decorative stone sphere paperweight. Often crafted using lapidary techniques, artisans cut distinct panels of rock, such as agate or marble, and bind them together using heavy-duty epoxies before polishing the entire assembly into a perfect sphere. During the late 20th century, these were popular souvenirs in tourist regions known for local geology, like the Ozarks. It likely ended up in the woods after being discarded or dropped by a passing hiker. I ordered a pair of gloves online, but when the package arrived, I got these bizarre doodads instead. They are metal baskets with springs attached to a handle that has a groove on the tip. They came sealed in a plastic bag with absolutely no instructions. Does anyone know what they are? It's a vent cover for a camper or RV furnace outlet. These mesh screens are designed to keep insects, specifically mud daubers and wasps, from building nests inside the exterior exhaust vents of a camper. The included spring tool hooks onto the crossbar of the vent, stretches the spring, and clips it securely to the louver of the furnace exhaust. This holds the screen tightly in place, ensuring safe and pest-free airflow for the vehicle's heating system. What is this small mechanical piece found lying in the dirt on an off-road bike trail? It has a chrome-plated steel section with gear teeth attached to a black plastic corner piece. It looks like it snapped off something much larger. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a broken corner piece from an adjustable phone mount, specifically the type used on bicycles and motorcycles. Inside the central hub of these mounts, a small gear mechanism synchronizes the movement of 4 corner grips. When the user turns a dial or squeezes the sides, the gear teeth engage to expand or retract the corners simultaneously, clamping the phone tight. Given where it was found, the mount likely hit a tree branch or took a hard crash, snapping this specific corner clean off the rider's handlebars. What is this blue pump and nozzle assembly sitting by the side of the road in Cornwall, United Kingdom? It sits near a roundabout and looks exactly like heavy-duty firefighting apparatus. However, there are no obvious flammable hazards in the vicinity to justify it. Does anyone know what it is doing here? It's a China clay mine water cannon, also known in the mining industry as a monitor. The region of southern Cornwall historically dominated the global production of China clay, which is heavily used in making porcelain and paper. Beginning in the 19th century, miners used high-pressure water cannons like this one to blast the pit faces. The sheer force of the water breaks down the raw clay and quartz, turning it into a liquid slurry that can be easily pumped to the surface. This specific cannon was decommissioned and mounted on its stone plinth as a historical monument to the local mining industry. I found this weird plastic thing randomly lying on my living room floor. It has several holes and arms with small ridges on them, looking almost like it holds string. My kids have no idea where it came from or what it is, and I am completely baffled. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a toy packaging anchor. Modern toy manufacturers use these plastic strips to tightly secure action figures and dolls to the cardboard backing inside the retail box. During assembly, machines or factory workers thread elastic bands, wires, or zip ties around the toy, push the ends through holes in the cardboard, and then hook or tie them onto the ridges of this plastic anchor piece. It distributes the tension across a wider area of the cardboard, keeping the toy perfectly posed during shipping without tearing the box. I have this vertical 3-inch diameter metal pipe in my basement. It runs from the floor to the ceiling, standing about 7 feet tall, and is cut into the concrete floor at the base. Curiously, the top is not supporting a structural joist, but is attached directly to the subfloor. It is located 3 feet away from the center beam of my 1920s house. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a custom-installed structural support post, often referred to as a lally column or a jack post. Because it bypasses the main joists and connects directly to the subfloor above, it was almost certainly installed by a previous homeowner to address a highly specific point load. This means something exceptionally heavy, such as a cast-iron bathtub, a waterbed, or a large safe, was positioned exactly above this spot on the upper floor. The post was wedged in place to physically prevent the wooden subfloor from sagging under that localized weight. I picked this up where someone dumped it curbside thinking it could make a great fire ring. It is a steel cylinder about 18 inches high and 30 inches across. The interior has a strange blue coating, which gave me pause about using it for a fire. There are 3 rows of holes on the inside where something might have been attached, but no exterior connections. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a clothes dryer tumbler. The steel drum is the main internal component of a standard residential tumble dryer. That interior blue coating is a heat-resistant enamel designed to protect your clothing from snagging and to prevent rust in high humidity conditions. The 3 rows of screw holes you noticed are exactly where the tumbling fins, also called baffles, were originally mounted. These fins catch the clothes and lift them as the drum rotates, allowing hot air to circulate. Because of the synthetic enamel coating, it would be toxic to burn wood inside it, so recycling it for scrap is your safest option. I found this brass and copper object while metal detecting an 1800s home site in Central Florida. It is decorated with ornate grape leaves, and the piece on the front can be turned halfway. The back seems to be silver-washed copper and features a patent date of April 19, 1881. Does anyone know what it is? It is a lock or latch piece for a large book, typically a family Bible. You are currently looking at the central locking dial, but you are missing the hinge and the opposite side of the clasp that would fit into the hole. During the late 19th century, large family Bibles and photo albums were heavily ornamented and required robust closures to keep the thick pages completely flat and prevent warping in humid environments. By turning the center dial, an internal cam mechanism pulls the 2 opposing halves together, locking the heavy cover tightly shut. What is this small plastic cylinder found at an art supply and framing shop? It is exactly 3/4 of an inch long and about 1/2 of an inch in diameter. The firm rubber exterior has lengthwise ridges for grip, while the interior has circular, non-helical ridges, meaning it does not screw onto anything, but could grip a smooth rod. Does anyone know what it is? This object is a slip-on switch extension used in lamp repair and assembly. Because the interior ridges are circular rather than threaded, the firm rubber is designed to be pressure-fitted directly over a standard metal turn knob on a lamp socket. The lengthwise exterior ridges give the user a larger, more ergonomic surface to grip when rotating the switch to turn the light on and off. Though you found it at an art framing store, it most likely slipped off a desk lamp used by one of the workers. I found this white plastic thing with holes on either end while walking in the woods along a hiking trail. It weighs less than 2 pounds and has a rigid, curved shape. What could it be? What you found is a snowmobile ski loop. Also known as a ski hoop or handle, this composite plastic component bolts directly to the front tip of a snowmobile ski. It serves 2 main functional purposes. First, it acts as a structural handle, allowing the rider to physically pull the heavy front end of the snowmobile out of deep powder or maneuver it onto a trailer. Second, the rounded plastic profile acts as a deflection shield, mechanically guiding the flat metal ski over unseen rocks or frozen branches on the trail without snagging. I found this brown dome-shaped object at a thrift store and have no idea what it is used for. It seems to be made of heavy wood and features a removable, hole-covered lid that occasionally falls inside. I thought it might be an incense burner, but a wooden frame seems dangerous to use around open fire. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is indeed a wooden incense burner, historically known as a censer. While burning embers inside a wooden dome sounds counterintuitive, this specific piece is actually missing a critical functional component. Originally, it would have included a suspended brass or copper tray fitted securely into the inner ridge. This metal tray safely holds the burning charcoal and hot incense resin, keeping the intense heat completely isolated from the combustible wooden exterior. The aromatic smoke then drafts upwards, escaping smoothly through the carved ventilation holes in the dome. I found two tiny metal holders mounted above my living room archway. They feature two soldiers looking down upon a coat of arms, and they have been in the house since we moved in. They are made of a nice, heavy metal with no tarnishing. Does anyone know what they are? What you found is a set of knight sword hangers. Also known as wall-mount sword hooks, these specific decorative designs became popular during the mid-20th century medieval decor revival. Manufactured by replica companies, they are typically cast from a zinc alloy known as zamac, which resists tarnishing and provides intricate detailing for the heraldic crests. They function by screwing directly into the wall stud, with the lower curved portion cradling the crossguard or scabbard of a display sword, allowing it to hang securely above an archway or fireplace. My dad had no idea where this handheld tool came from. It features a heavy brass hammerhead on top and a spring-loaded clear plastic tube on the bottom. When you push down, the tube retracts into the red handle, exposing a very small metal cylinder. An AI app suggested it was a medical tool, but could not pinpoint it. Does anyone know what it is? It's a brad pusher, a specialized hand tool often used by picture framers, woodworkers, and glaziers. Before pneumatic nail guns became standard, craftsmen used these manual tools to insert small finishing nails, called brads, into tight corners without damaging the surrounding wood or glass. You drop a brad into the clear tube, align it against the frame, and push down firmly. The internal metal cylinder acts as a piston, driving the nail straight into the material. The heavy brass surface at the top allows you to lightly tap the tool with a mallet for extra driving force if the wood is particularly dense. I found this large roadside red cylinder covered in spikes sitting outside an industrial area near Boulder, Colorado. It stands several feet tall, and I have a feeling it could be art, but it looks like it serves a heavy mechanical function. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is an industrial art sculpture, but it is constructed entirely from heavy machinery parts. The spiked center is a repurposed sheep's foot roller, a type of heavy soil compactor originally pulled behind tractors to compress loose dirt on construction sites. The steel spikes, known as feet, mechanically knead the soil to remove air voids. The outer rings of the sculpture are made from two large agricultural tractor wheel rims painted red to match. A local artist welded these defunct industrial components together to create a permanent roadside installation celebrating the mechanical history of the area. I found this green electrical box on a public street in the UK. It looks standard, but it is making a really loud, high-pitched beeping sound, and there is an amber light flashing on top. I have never seen one making noise before. Should I be concerned? And does anyone know what it is? What you found is a control station for municipal stormwater or sewerage pumps. When the automated system detects a malfunction, such as a pump failure, a power fault, or dangerously high water levels, it triggers the audible alarm and flashing amber light to alert bypassers and maintenance crews. Typically, these boxes have a placard attached to the front, displaying a phone number and a station ID. You are supposed to call the local water authority and quote the ID number so an engineer can be dispatched to fix the system before a flood or sewage backup occurs. What is this device with a long, bendy, adjustable neck? It is about the size of an old Walkman, and I saw a person clip it to their seat at a movie theater before showtime. Oddly enough, they took it down by the time the movie started. Does anyone know what it is? It's a portable closed captioning device. Movie theaters provide these for deaf and hard-of-hearing patrons. The flexible neck clamps directly into the cup holder or armrest, allowing the user to position a small digital OLED screen directly in their line of sight with the movie. It displays the dialogue and sound effects as text in real time, receiving a wireless infrared or radio frequency signal transmitted from the projection booth. The patron likely took it down either because the movie had on-screen subtitles already, or the receiver was failing to sync with the theater's transmission. I found this tiny stamped metal piece sitting on a toilet paper dispenser in a men's bathroom stall at work. It has a very sharp, pointed end and is extremely small and lightweight. I did not touch or pick it up to be safe, but does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a disposable splinter remover. They are individually wrapped, sterile surgical instruments often found in standard commercial first aid kits. The wide, flat handle allows for a secure pinch grip, while the extremely sharp, triangular tip is designed to easily slide under the top layer of skin to hook and lift out splinters, metal shavings, or glass fragments. Because they are strictly meant for single use to prevent bacterial infection, it was likely left behind after someone performed some quick first aid on their hand during a work shift. I found 2 of these in the fridge in a Ziploc bag. Each one is a small vial about 1.5 inches long, filled with a white crystalline solid. Whatever is inside is highly granular and a little bit shiny. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is vanillin powder. This is the primary organic compound responsible for the flavor and aroma of the vanilla bean, widely used as a flavoring agent in baking and desserts. It naturally forms shiny, needle-like white crystals. You can frequently buy pure artificial vanillin powder in small vials at specialty Asian or European markets, as it is cheaper and highly concentrated compared to standard liquid vanilla extract. Keeping it in the fridge helps preserve its aromatic potency over time. I am visiting Vienna for the first time, and I keep seeing these red and white striped, pointy-ended sticks attached to walls. They are very consistent in their size and color. Most are zip-tied directly to the buildings, but some are even padlocked to the brickwork. Does anyone know what it is? It's a falling snow and ice warning stick. In Austria and other parts of Central Europe, property owners are legally responsible for injuries or damage caused by snow sliding off their roofs. During the winter months, workers will angle these highly visible poles outward from the facade into the sidewalk area. This creates a physical and visual barrier, signaling to pedestrians to walk further out toward the street to avoid being struck by dangerous falling icicles or heavy roof avalanches. I noticed this weird box mounted under the bathroom sink at a local restaurant. It looks incredibly sketchy, as it apparently combines direct water lines and electrical wiring right next to each other in a small plastic casing. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as an electric on-demand or tankless water heater. Modern versions became highly popular in the 1990s for commercial spaces wanting to save room and energy. Cold water travels into the unit and passes over a highly conductive electric heating element. The element flashes the water to the target temperature almost instantly as it flows toward the faucet. Despite looking hazardous when exposed, these units are thoroughly insulated and grounded, making them perfectly safe for commercial bathrooms. What is this strange plastic piece stuck to the wall of my bathtub? It looks like some kind of space for an attachment or bracket, but it does not seem to move, rotate, or slide in any way. Does anyone know what it is? It's an adhesive mount for a handheld shower head. These brackets are manufactured by plumbing fixture companies to allow users to place a secondary shower head at a lower height without drilling into the tile or fiberglass tub enclosure. The central slot is designed to catch and clamp the tapered base of the shower wand handle. You simply drop the handle into the groove, and gravity wedges it firmly into place against the wall. I received a big box of donated knitting supplies and found these odd objects inside. They are aluminum clips of various sizes, shaped like giant safety pins but without the sharp points. I can't figure out their purpose. Does anyone know what they are used for? This object is known as a stitch holder, a fundamental tool in the craft of knitting. When you are knitting a garment like a sweater in the round, you often need to temporarily set aside certain sections, such as the stitches meant for the underarms or the neckline. The knitter simply slides the active loops off the needle onto this large aluminum pin and clasps it shut. This safely secures the stitches, preventing them from unraveling until the knitter is ready to pick them back up to finish the section. I found this small silver figurine outside our house. It is made entirely of metal and stands only a few centimeters tall. It looks like a knight or a tiny warrior, but I cannot figure out where it came from. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a pewter miniature originally used for historical or fantasy tabletop gaming. These small metal figures gained massive popularity in the 1970s and 1980s, alongside the rise of role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons and tactical war games like Warhammer. They are typically cast in a lead-free pewter alloy and are scaled around 25 to 28 millimeters tall. Players generally paint these raw metal figures by hand and use them on grid maps to track character movement, line of sight, and combat scenarios. I found this odd tank sticking out of the ground in a former slaughterhouse built between the 1900s and 1930s. It is about 50 centimeters in diameter, made of thick metal, and seems to go down at least 1 or 2 meters. It has one big hole, 2 smaller ones, and a related pipe on the right side. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as an underground butane tank. Before propane became the universal standard for rural and industrial heating, butane was commonly stored as a liquefied petroleum gas to fuel boilers, heaters, and rendering equipment in commercial facilities. The large hole on top originally housed the main filler valve, while the smaller ports were used for pressure relief and supply lines leading directly into the building. The tank was buried deep underground to naturally insulate the pressurized gas and prevent the butane from freezing during cold winter months. I found this bow-shaped wooden thing mounted on the wall in a pub in the United Kingdom. It has pieces of string hanging down with small metal hoops attached, swinging freely near a set of hooks. Does anyone know what it is? It's a traditional bar game commonly known as the ring and hook game, or sometimes bimini ring. The mechanics are simple, but require a surprising amount of coordination. A player pulls the metal ring back on its string and lets it swing like a pendulum toward the board, attempting to land the ring perfectly onto one of the open hooks. Players usually take turns trying to rack up the most points, often incorporating drinks into the scoring rules. It is a classic parlor game designed to test hand-eye coordination in a casual setting. I got these metal objects at a yard sale in a bin of random things. They are quite heavy for their size. Image searches suggested they might be stick pins, but they feature a distinct arched bottom with 2 incredibly sharp points, unlike any clothing pin I have ever seen. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a set of vintage cocktail picks. Specifically, these are dual-pronged garnish picks designed for use in upscale bartending. The sharp double points at the bottom are used to securely pierce and hold garnishes like olives, cherries, or citrus peels, preventing them from spinning around or sliding off the pick when dropped into a drink. The arched bottom allows the pick to rest cleanly on the rim of a martini glass. While cheap wooden or plastic toothpicks are common today, heavy metal picks like these were standard in mid-century barware sets, prized for their durability and elegant presentation. I found this in a bathroom while moving into my new place. It is a 2-foot-long, dyed leather cord covered in wooden beads with a small loop on one end. It looks like an accessory of some sort, but I am not sure exactly how it would be worn or what it is attached to. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a beaded hair decoration, often referred to as a hair wrap or braid wrap. The looped end is designed to be tied directly into the base of a lock of hair or an existing braid, allowing the beaded leather cord to intertwine with the hair as it hangs down. These simple accessories became highly popular during the 1960s and 1970s counterculture movement as a bohemian statement for long hair. They are still manufactured today and sold at festivals to quickly add color and texture to a hairstyle. What is this long glass tube with a metal component running down the middle? The inner strip is blue on one side and uncolored on the other, and it features metal connection knobs on both the top and bottom exterior of the glass. The person who had it thought it might be meant for heating water with solar power, but I am not entirely sure. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as an evacuated solar tube, and the initial guess you heard was entirely correct. It is a highly efficient solar thermal collector used to heat water for residential or commercial heating systems. The blue strip inside is an absorber plate coated in a selectively absorbing material that captures maximum solar radiation. The glass tube itself is actually a double wall structure with a pure vacuum between the layers. This vacuum acts as a perfect thermal insulator, preventing the captured heat from escaping back into the cold air while efficiently transferring the thermal energy to a heat pipe connected to the water flow system. I found this cracked clear tube outside my neighbor's house. They are an older couple with grandchildren, and as far as I know, there isn't a drug problem in our suburban neighborhood. The tube is a few inches long and has some strange black residue inside. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a generic plastic storage tube. While it is easy to assume the worst, these impact-resistant polystyrene or polycarbonate tubes are manufactured for a vast variety of everyday uses. They are commonly sold as protective cases for small hobby parts, drill bits, or even craft supplies. The manufacturing dates on these basic injection-molded designs go back decades. To find out exactly what this specific one held, a chemical test of that black residue would be the only definitive way to know its past life. I picked this up at a local estate sale. It is a blue acrylic ball that rests in a matching holder with a circular back plate. It measures about 1 inch in diameter, but there are no markings or brand names to indicate what it does. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a minimalist photo display or business card holder. Manufactured heavily in the late 1980s and 1990s, when acrylic desktop accessories were a major design trend, it uses simple gravity and friction to hold paper. You slide a photograph or a business card between the heavy acrylic ball and the curved back plate. The weight of the ball clamps the paper securely in place without requiring any mechanical springs or hardware, making it a clever, functional piece of modern office design. What is this massive Z-shaped pipe fitting rigged up at a construction site? It is connected to a heavy-duty dewatering setup, but it has unusual extended sections that look completely different from standard industrial plumbing. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a link manifold, specifically designed to filter turbid water on large job sites. Inside those straight pipe sections are specialized water treatment blocks called flock logs. These blocks are made of semi-hydrated anionic polyacrylamide. As muddy water flows through the Z-shaped pipe, the internal turbulence forces the water to wash over the logs. The logs slowly dissolve, releasing chemicals that bind with fine sediment particles and heavy metals. This chemical reaction causes the microscopic debris to clump together and drop out of the water, ensuring that only clean, filtered water is pumped back into the environment. I found this white clip with ridges sitting in my closet. It looks like it could be something for clothing, but it has been so long since I saw these that I do not remember what they are for. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a sealing clip for a vacuum storage bag. These small plastic sliders are designed to clamp down over the double zipper seal of large, flexible plastic storage bags. By sliding the clip firmly across the top, it engages the interlocking plastic grooves to create an airtight seal. Once sealed, a standard vacuum cleaner hose is attached to a one-way valve on the bag to extract the air, shrinking bulky items like winter coats or blankets down to a fraction of their original size. I discovered 2 thumb-sized oblong wooden pegs with letters printed on them under my oven, sitting next to a few stray Legos and Matchbox cars. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a piece from a children's wooden balancing game, specifically a cactus-themed stacking toy. These games are designed to teach toddlers fine motor skills and spatial awareness. The core of the toy is a wooden base shaped like a cactus trunk, and players must carefully insert these oblong pegs into holes on the sides to build branches without tipping the structure over. Educational toy companies popularized this specific design in the early 2000s, often adding letters, numbers, or bright, non-toxic paint to the pegs to assist in cognitive development. What is this 2-pound, adjustable, 12-inch wide metal component that attaches to a 1.5-inch rod? It looks like it is meant to precisely position something about 6 inches wide, and it is entirely aluminum except for the plastic adjustment knobs. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a major component of a large format view camera, specifically the standard from a Toyo 4x5 model. In large format photography, the camera consists of a front standard that holds the lens and a rear standard that holds the film, connected by a flexible bellows. This piece mounts directly onto a central monorail, allowing the photographer to shift, tilt, and focus the lens with extreme precision to control perspective and focal depth. What is this fairly heavy 8-inch diameter disc? It looks like it might be some kind of sailing tool, but there are no obvious markings or instructions printed on it. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a Secchi disc. It is a scientific tool used to measure water transparency in oceans and lakes. Created in 1865 by Italian astronomer Pietro Angelo Secchi, the disc is mounted on a line and lowered slowly down into the water. The exact depth at which the patterned disc is no longer visible to the observer is recorded as the Secchi depth. This simple but highly effective mechanism provides a standardized measurement of water clarity, helping marine biologists determine the concentration of algae or sediment suspended in the water column. I came across this wood panel featuring a gold wheat design, and I cannot figure out what it plugs into. The back has two short, stubby wooden dowels and a finger hole at the bottom for easy removal. It is a solid block of wood and clearly attaches to the front of a larger object. Does anyone know what it is? These objects are known as removable casket corner art pieces, specifically manufactured by the Matthews Casket Company. Modern caskets often feature modular corners that allow families to customize the exterior hardware with decorative symbols representing the deceased, such as a wheat sheaf for a farmer. The wooden dowels slide and lock securely into the base of the casket. After the funeral service concludes, the funeral director uses the bottom finger hole to pop the wooden panels off, presenting them to the family to take home as a permanent memorial keepsake. What is this cone-shaped structure? It looks like a massive concrete pedestal reaching into the sky, but there is no building on top. Does anyone know what it is? It's a water tower base. Specifically, this is the reinforced concrete support pedestal for a modern composite elevated water tank. These massive structures are poured in place using slip-forming techniques, creating a hollow fluted or conical column. Once the concrete cures to the required strength, the actual steel water reservoir is constructed on the ground around the base and hoisted to the top using heavy hydraulic jacks. The hollow interior often houses the inlet and outlet pipes, valves, and maintenance ladders, keeping them safely away from freezing temperatures. I found this long, heavy metal bolt lying on the floor of my bathroom, right after my toddler was playing in there. It looks like a thick steel pin with a flat head, and I have no idea where it fell from. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a door hinge pin. This vital piece of household hardware acts as the pivot point connecting the two leaves of a standard door hinge. One leaf is screwed to the door frame, the other to the door itself, and the pin drops down through the interlocking knuckles to hold them together while allowing the door to swing open. Over time, especially if doors are frequently opened and closed or lack lubrication, these pins can slowly work their way upward. A toddler pulling or pushing on the door was likely just enough mechanical force to unseat the loose pin completely. Which of these items surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. For more unknown items, check out the other videos on our channel. Hit like and subscribe.